How you doing, Libra? Let's get right into this. Celtic cross. Coming right out of the gate, Libra. Celtic cross for Libra. We want to talk. So, two of coins. You are juggling responsibilities, work and home life. Excuse me. You have a lot going on. Maybe you're trying to keep yourself balanced, to feel imbalanced in some way, and you're trying to keep yourself balanced and everything that you have going on. You can feel a little overwhelmed trying to keep all of what you have to do going, all the balls in the air. What crosses you is justice. That's yourself. Maybe a decision that was made or has to be made in regards to fairness within yourself. There's something that you're deciding over and you're holding yourself back. You're trying to find out what's the right thing to do. 4, 5. Wait a second. Page. Swords. That's what am I doing? Yeah, that's right. I didn't see that page of swords underneath for some reason. I don't know why. You're trying to decide if this is the fair thing to do, what's the right thing to do, what's the fair thing for yourself. You're juggling between a decision, and the indecisiveness can be due to trying to see everyone's perspective and your own, the pluses and minuses, on top of being someone who is highly social and influential, because the reason why you are is because you're so personable and you do think of other people, but sometimes that tends to cloud your own judgment and the things that you want for yourself, because you kind of sense what the other people around you want. That clouds your own judgment and stops you from making a complete decision, because you think about things that affect you and other people on the whole, instead of actually really looking at what you really want and what's best for you, because that's the reason why you're able to keep such a social network or situations going on, because you do care deeply. But sometimes those associations are the thing that stifles you into movement. And you tend to have an analysis paralysis when it comes to your decisions and what you want for yourself, and actually figuring out what that is. Now, your foundation, the causes of your situation, your physical, emotional needs, plus your subconscious desires So the causes of your situations, your physical and emotional needs, plus your subconscious desires. The causes of your situation. That is the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords, this is somebody who can be analyzing a situation, a person, thinking about a situation or person, or even somewhat spying on a situation or person. You know, looking through their emails or looking through their phone. Just there is some kind of suspicion here, or just kind of really evaluating your environment at a whole and the people you have within it. The Page of Swords, they're very observant. They can be seemingly suspicious because they're the scout that goes out before the rest of the battalion to see exactly how much military there is. You know, what's the weak points in the terrain, things of that sort. Pages are also considered as messengers. So a message about truth, or a message of speaking your mind because something was found, and it could have been due to snooping. So the past, what is behind you, your creative talents and abilities. The Emperor could be dealing with an Aries, but and your creative talents and abilities. You could have been dealing with an Aries, or you could have Aries within your chart. Now the Emperor, he is a leader. He is pretty much the king of kings. He rules not only with action, but also with consideration. And he's very controlled when it comes to all of the best parts of the elements. This is a man who rules. You know, what he says, that goes. He takes action, he builds things, he keeps things in order. You could have put your foot down in something, or you could have taken initiative to start something new, to go towards something, to create action towards something. Now, sometimes, let me see. Sorry about all that. Let me just stop that. Sorry about that. It was my neighbor. Neighbors, like, really thin walls. So, in the past, you took initiative towards something. You made a final determination. You did this by really thinking that this is the fair thing to do, the fair direction to go towards. Use your head over heart, but you wanted to take charge throughout something. This is taking charge within a relationship or a situation, and you're toying with kind of changing taking charge to that really threw me off, sorry. Taking charge to actually go towards a relationship and to try to fix things, try to work things out, try to compromise, but definitely putting action towards something. And you're deciding if you want to end it or if you want to put action towards it. And this has been something that you've been ruminating and, you know, going back and forth for a really long time. You feel like perhaps there was an injustice done in your past, or the situation was unjust in some way, either towards you or towards the other person, And you're torn between wanting to make it right or trying to compromise the situation and work it out, or just ending it completely. After this truth was found, this message was given, maybe there could have been an argument and things were said. Fast and immature communication, Page of Swords, can be considered immature, you know. This can be also, it could represent a child within the unit. So maybe you have a shared child with somebody, or somebody, there's a single parent within this situation. Possibly an air sign child between the two. But this is also immature communication. There might have been a blowout due to something being found, due to spying. And you feel that something was unjust, perhaps even towards you. And that's why you're deciding if you still want to deal with it and put energy into it, or just end it completely. Now, your goals and your conscious awareness, the best can be accomplished at present. Whatever that was found, whatever blew out that happened, like, you don't want to give to this. You feel like you have to really consider if this is something that you want to invest in the future. Before, it seems like you were still deciding and you were standing off. Maybe this is a relationship that was kind of had issues for a while, or situation, or family unit. And you feel like that you really haven't been all that happy, or you weren't getting all that much from the situation anymore, and it's making you not wanting to invest, and you're toying with it and ending it for a while. Perhaps you guys were having problems for a really long time, blow-ups, and you know, things have yet to be settled. And even though you want to end the argument, and at the same time you want to end the argument and kind of take charge and fixing it, at the same time you don't want to deal with it either, and you're really going back and forth. And that's the thing with Libra. Your decision changes from one day into the next, and you have trouble making a decision. Now, your future, what is just before you, there will be an ending. The world is an end of a chapter, an end to a cycle. It could be a divorce or separation, or a change in, and also a change in location and environment. This could be even that you're dealing with somebody at a distance, and you're toying to see if you actually want to put any kind of energy into this. I'm not sure which, but it seems like you're holding yourself back, and this is definitely, I see the Hangman without seeing the Hangman already with this. And you're trying to maintain both before you make a decision, even though on the everyday you're not all that happy with the situation. And you are and you aren't, but you know, it can't be that good if you're toying with even dealing with it. How you see yourself, your personal strengths and weaknesses, and individual perspective of you. So, Ace of Wands. You feel like you have a lot of drive, you have a lot of ambition, you have a lot of creative ideas. You're a really good starter, but you know, Ace of Wands are starters, but they are not so great at resiliency of standing for the long haul, but they're really good when it comes to passionate beginnings and creative starts. Whether that fire or that passion kind of maintains itself throughout the duration, because like air, you guys are so fluid that you tend to have different obsessions and passions at any given time. And you are passionate. You do put a lot of, you know, energy and vigor into situations. And that is definitely your strength. You see yourself maybe wanting to start something new, something that brings the passion and vitality back into your life. Perhaps this could be a slump within like a long-term relationship or marriage situation, and you know, it could be a growing apart. Your environment, your home, your surroundings, family, loves, friends, work, that which is outside of yourself and how others perceive you. 7 of Wands. This is definitely an argument. This is somebody who is maintaining their position, somebody who wants to be heard, wants to be defending their position, their opinions and ideas, who wants to try to defend themselves and their thoughts and ideas. They want to be heard. Perhaps they feel like they haven't been heard. Perhaps because they feel like you have been somewhat disassociated, because they feel you kind of like on the fence, not wanting to deal with it. And perhaps it makes the partner, your partner, feel defensive, like they have to try to maintain something, like they're trying to get some kind of response out of you, because they're starting to feel like they can't even affect you. I could see a sense of depression within this situation, like depression in staying in a situation that you're unsure about, or you want to stay and maintain. Because you do love this other person, but perhaps it is the state of mind of depression, and perhaps this is like one of those lulls that people go through. That, you know, every relationship has its ups and downs. And it seems like you're going through a rough patch right now. But part of knowing what you don't want is learning about the things that you do want. And perhaps there is a lot of time where you've yet to acquire that kind of that gift, that kind of like ability. Sometimes it helps to just, if you're unsure about something, is just take whatever object, and you could do this by, you know, decluttering, or before you buy something, you could just put it up to you and ask yourself, how do I feel about this? Does it actually bring me joy? Am I happier using this? Do I see myself being happy if I bought this or purchased it or kept it, or, you know, and because it's kind of asking yourself the insightful questions that's needed to try to ponder what it is that you feel. With air signs, it takes them a while to figure that out, because they can be really cerebral. Now, your environment is defensive. They feel like they have to prove a point. They want to prove their point, win their argument. Your hopes and fears of attaining the goal, the lesson to be learned, blocking your development. your hopes and fears. The Six of Pentacles. Now, this is generosity. This is altruism. This is charity. You feel like you hope to be kind of understood more, or given encouragement or acts of gratitude. You feel like the situation wasn't exactly balanced and you would like more of an equal footing on the relationship. You feel depleted, possibly, and you want to have more to be able to give out towards others. You also fear that possibly the other person is around because they have to be, and not because they want to be. Maybe you feel that as well. You hoped for give and take, you hope for balance, you hope for charity, but you also fear it as well. That perhaps if you get all of those things, or you give all of those things, then, you know, it'll still continue to be an issue. But you want to work things out. You want to be charitable towards this situation. It's just, you feel depleted and you're not sure if, I think you're going through something. Like possibly even a depression. But you're trying to get the fire back and vitality into something, and trying to decide on the direction and how you feel about things. You want to be more generous and giving towards the situation, but perhaps it's the moodiness that is coming into play that affects things, because Libras can be quite moody and they are prone to depression. And sometimes, even if they really love somebody, they sometimes lets their moods controls the situation and day, and even arguments. That sometimes the anger or resentment of your situation is misplaced towards the wrong person. The outcome, the Hierophant, what you will gain from this experience, the reward, the quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. I think there will be a reawakening towards this relationship. You know, you're very committed towards this situation, you know, this, and you could be dealing with a Taurus. And this is commitment, this is structure, this is spiritual organizations, this is society, this is organizations as a whole, government. You know, these are also rigid beliefs and could even be self-limiting beliefs. Somebody who is very dogmatic and upholds traditions. You want to be, you're hoping for more charity between the both of you. And each time you work it out, just whoever you're dealing with is very defensive, because they can be quite dogmatic, unrelenting, and uncompromising at times, which brings issues. Now the outcome, what you will gain from the experience, a reward or quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. Wheel of Fortune on the end. There's a new cycle that's happening. Right now it's just a holding period. There was an argument, a fight. There's a need to compromise this situation because I feel there is a family unit here, and whatever was the argument, there could be a kind of a new beginning, a new cycle that starts to happen, which could ultimately lead to a deeper commitment towards each other. But if you are having an argument, a fight between the two, considering leaving a family unit or a relationship, I think it's worth it to stick it out and to try to work it out if children are involved. But it's about give and take, about compromising with the other, and about hearing each other out, because the Emperor and the Hierophant, these are both very strong, opinionated characters. I mean, you got an Aries and a Taurus here when it comes to when it comes to these energies, this is just like these two very strong personalities are trying to compromise with the other while trying to kind of maintain their own equilibrium. And it is a very delicate balancing act. But I see that there will be a new cycle after this kind of like a stagnation and argument. It's a lull that's going to end up in a better situation, and it will lead to a deeper relationship. Oh, the Empress. Look at that. Because here it is. The Emperor and the Empress. This is your soulmate, Libra. And I guess it just depends on how much work you want to be putting into this to continue it and to continue a kind of compromising and equal kind of relationship, because I see that it has a lot of potential to lead to a deeper situation, but it's important not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Arguments are known to happen, and it's also important to happen within a relationship because it helps the other start to get to know each other even better than before, which could make them more available to be there for you in the way that you need to be for the other. But let me go ahead and give you some advice from Spirit. For Libra, advice from Spirit. Whoa. Now, I don't know. Let me see. That's a lot. That's too much. That's okay. Advice from Spirit. Advice of Spirit. This is really throwing you off track, and I could feel that. This is affecting you deeply, emotionally and mentally. You feel kind of all over the place because this threw you off balance, because you do care deeply for this. It's just that you don't want to deal with the argument, and you don't know if this has the staying power to keep going on if you guys can't talk and communicate and compromise. And it's due to both wanting to be unrelenting and both wanting to hear but without listening. Now, pick one more. Oh, I guess there's more. What's that? Now, now you feel like the situation is not gonna be able to make it throughout the long term. You feel like this is a divine partner, and intuitively you know this. And you also know that there is a fork in the road, that you have to make a choice to commit strongly in one direction towards the other, and you can no longer ride it on the fence and be only half kind of present in the situation without understanding of why that would affect the other people around you. Now, it's time to be really critical and analytical about this situation. What is it that's causing the issues? Why do you think that it can't go for the long term? And what are the situations that brought about the issue, and possible solutions that could resolve the issues for both of you, and if it can be resolved? Now, imagine a dream. Someone sees you as their divine partner, and you feel like, you know, they're your other half. But you also feel that intuitively you have to look out for kind of the red flags as to when it will end, and if this is something that can't be resolved regardless, if you do feel like they're your divine partner and they're your other half. All because you can't get along doesn't mean you don't love each other. And all because you have trouble working together, it doesn't make it a bad partnership as a whole. Intuitively, you feel like you have to look deeper within something, within the relationship, within the person, and kind of your own feelings. There's a need to be more observant of your feelings. How do you feel towards this situation? And it helps to, you know, do a body scan meditation from YouTube. Get back into your body, and I feel a certain amount of dissociation, and from possibly from all of the conflict and stress that you tend to disassociate from your body, and you feel like you're kind of not in your body and you're like the outside perspective. Or people numb out where they don't even feel their emotions, they just go through day to day, and then there's a blockage of that. And this is trauma responses. This is that fight or flight or freeze response. is to disassociate or to numb out. You feel like there will be a choice, and a choice needs to be made. And you can't, it's important not to just be a passive observer in your own life. You have to be more present, and you can't just allow fate to deal you the hand or the outcome or the consequences, because you don't want to be responsible for making that decision. So you kind of just dissociate and wait for the other person to make a decision for you. But instead, it's time for you to go within and see how you really feel about the issue, and to ask yourself what you really want and what would ultimately make you happy, regardless about the other person involved. And if it's this person, to actually start being more present and to put the work in. And if it's for you, just to go out towards yourself, then you have to make the decision to do that. But ultimately, part of to help with the anxiety, Libra, is to know that there is no wrong decision. There's no right decision, because ultimately you feel like you're being led from the divine, and whatever decision you make, it's still gonna give you lessons to be learned about yourself. So that might help, knowing that there is no right or wrong decision. There's just outcomes. I mean, when it comes to trying to decide what's underneath. Oh, look at that fire. Yin and yang, soulmate union. This union this is your other half, Libra. Intuitively you know this, and you're observant of this, and you both are keeping a close eye on each other, even if you're having issues right now. And even if there's this lull in the relationship, or you feel that there's a decision that needs to be made, ultimately you know that this union and this person was fated towards you, and this is what it is. This is fate. This is a new cycle. This is luck. This is Jupiter. This is expansion. But when it comes to the wheel of fortune, what comes up must come down, and it's always to remember that with every amazing start, there will be ups and downs within the situation. And it can't be good all of the time. And it just matters if you both are willing to put the work in and the effort into creating resolutions in order to stay together. But ultimately, I see you will. I mean, come on, look at this. Yin, yang, Emperor and Empress. You got the Hierophant. This is a divine union. And you will end up back together, even if you are going through a rough patch or you're not speaking at the moment. Yep. You both are going to come back together. And let me tell you, because that's just what I see in the cards. But I will talk to you later, Libra. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe if it did connect to you. Donation box below if you'd like to donate to the channel. And then sometimes they leave extra notes on the header area in case I channel anything extra. Much love and light to you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.